evening, everyone, and welcome to the live taping of Stephanie's Company. I am your host, Stephanie Bogan. I am so excited about tonight. We have two amazing men here bringing positive energy, doing amazing things, and we're going to hear about them tonight. Our first guest is Agbai Iroha, graduate of Monmouth University, received his degree in software engineering. Agbai played for the Monmouth Hawks at defensive back number 27. Okay. Agbai right now is working for a cloud consulting company, working as a cloud application developer. You'll hear more about Agbai and all his new projects later on in the segment. Our second guest is Jamauri Bogan, graduate of Western Michigan University. Jamauri received his degree in personal finance. Jamauri is preparing for his fifth and final season, number 32 running back for Western Michigan. On August the 31st, Western Michigan will be hosting the Syracuse Orangemen for kickoff of their football season. Welcome Jamauri and Agbai to my channel. So fellas, let's get started. You two have been friends since the 3rd grade. Can you both tell me, one or the other, how do you guys meet?
Well, I moved to Union in 2nd grade, and I didn't really know anybody. But you know, I saw Jamauri out there during recess. He was the most competitive guy out there. He never let you beat him in a race. He was always captain of the kickball teams. And if you messed up, he let you know. And you know, I gravitated towards him because, you know, it's somebody you want to emulate, somebody like that at a young age, commanding like that. So that's when I started itching towards Mari like that. So.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. We competed against each other on the kickball, wall ball, whatever it was. But as time has gone past, we've grown closer and closer because we are very like-minded in what we believe in. And he's one of the better influences on my life, so whenever I get a time to talk to him or text him, it's always great energy and positive things that come from the conversation.
So Franklin Elementary, and you're both shared in the same classroom, Mrs. Javis, correct? Yeah, so from Franklin Elementary, then you both went to Burnett Middle School, and then you guys went on to Union High School, right? So I want to talk about that a little bit, going back a little bit, Agbai. You came to the United States at the age of 4 from Nigeria, okay? You were introduced to football in the 5th grade, but your parents didn't allow you to play football until the 8th grade. You want to talk about that, like coming into the country, your family, and then the reason behind why your parents decided to let you wait to play football?
Yeah, like you said, I came here when I was 4 in 2000. Family of 6, we came with 1 briefcase to America. So my parents, they were always, you know, protective over us. They didn't want us to get hurt. And we never saw football a day in our lives till we came here. And they're like, what is this game? People running into each other. They don't even have the ball. They just hitting each other. So they said, no way, I can't play the game. But then, you know, I was persistent. In the house, I would put it on in the TV upstairs, TV downstairs in the dining room. And they're like, man, what is this game he loves so much? And my older brother convinced him to let me play. And then that's all she wrote after that.
You wound up playing for the Burnett Middle School team, correct? Yeah. And I get what you're saying about parents being protective, because I'm a protective, overprotective parent, you know? So I definitely understand your parents and their concerns about that. So from the middle school, we're going to turn back to Jamauri and talk about, you went a different avenue. You started from age 5 with the Union Rams. So you want to talk about that experience and how that, from the Union Rams as a little guy at 5 years old, coming through the ranks from the Rams to now?
It's been a unique experience. At 5 years old, I was a kid full of energy. My mom had to find something to do for me. And she found something that was truly great. Football is something I gravitated, something I started to become good at, and I enjoy. But throughout the years, I've been blessed. The Union Rams has truly blessed me. There's a lot of people that I still keep in contact with. Coach Dwayne I talk to about 2 or 3 times a week still. Coach Craig, we get on the phone every now and then. Miss Felicia, Miss Tracy. There are people Lamar, I still keep in contact with the individuals who are part of that organization and my teammates. I learned teamwork, I learned how to be a leader, how to be compassionate towards others. You learn so many things from the game of football. So the Union Rams has afforded me a lot, and that's how I got a full scholarship, because of those values I learned back then.
Do you feel as athletes and playing football, do some athletes have a little bit of ego to them?
You got to be confident but humble, right? There has to be a great balance between it. You can't perform at a high level without having confidence. I can't sit up here and talk to you without having confidence in myself. Without that, I'm not me. But I have to be humble enough to know that if I don't prepare for this conversation, I will fail. But confident to know that if I stand here and I'm prepared, I can do whatever.
We know that Union is known for academics, have our kids go through the school system. They do great things, go on to college and do great things. But we also know that Union is known for football, okay? They have, under the leadership of Lou Bettino, you have great athletes that came through Union that went into the NFL, like Dave Daddio, Brian Sheridan, Tony Stewart, Gary Mobley, and the list, Todd Simonson, so the list goes on and on. Coming to Union High School, and you hear about it constantly, about the values of Union, the love for Union, the teachers, the academics, but also Friday nights under lights at Union as a farmer. How can you talk to everyone as young people looking out, talk to them about that experience of coming to Union High School?
I was the man on the 8th grade team, and I knew Maury was the man at the Rams, and we both played the same position.
Okay.
So coming into Union High School, I'm like, well, I'm going to play running back. Jamari gonna have to find something to do. And it turns out it flipped. Jamari played running back. I had to find something to do. So they moved me to safety. I never played before. I had to learn the position. This guy Everett Johnson, he would run me over every day, and I wanted to quit varsity. Because one day I moved out of his way in practice, and Sheridan told me, you can tackle Everett, or you can go play freshman football. So then that day I just started taking it to the chin every day of practice, and it made me tougher. The whole experience made me tougher. But in the back of my mind, like you said, I'm like, I can't quit without experiencing those Friday nights. You know, you hear about Union football all the time, and it's like, it's so close, yet it's so far. So I'm like, I just got to dig deep and suck it up, and I'm grateful I did, because those Friday nights, I'll never forget them.
All right, your experience?
I remember Coach Sheridan coming to see me, and we walked outside to the field house, and we looked out, it was pitch black. And he said, just imagine what the things are you going to do here. And I never truly imagined I would run for 6,000 yards and do all the great things, but I imagined myself being the best I ever did it there. And I would show up 2 hours before practice, my freshman year, run up the bleachers, run around the track, because I was dedicated to being the best. And everything I did at Union was trying to be the best, and getting my teammates to also be their best so that we can win state championships. Because at the end of the day, at Union High School, you're not defined by how many yards you score, how many touchdowns you score, or how many yards you run for it, but how many championships you win. We fell short, but we got there. And that's what it truly mattered to me, is that if I could get my team and my teammates to get on one accord to be elite, and get to the state championship game. That's all I wanted to do, and we got there in our senior year.
When I decided on the topic, it's more than football, the student and the athlete. It's more about football. It's beyond that. So I want you to talk to our youth and our millennials about how do you set your priorities in school when you enter high school, or from 8th grade going into high school, setting your goals from the door on what to achieve to go to the next level, to go to a college or the D1 or D2 school. What do you tell young people to prepare for?
I would say the first thing that Everett taught us was that you got to go to school first. He said get a 3.0 in your first 2 years, and you never have to work the last 2. So I said, if that's the blueprint you went to Yale, I'm gonna take that blueprint. And so the first 2 years, go out there and attack school full-heartedly. And at the end of my sophomore year, I had 5 scholarships. I was kind of set already about what I wanted to do, but school is so important, and that's what most kids don't understand. They think that I can go D1 by my athletic ability. Like, it's a full scope here. They want to know, can you think? Can you react? Can you play? Can you go out there and affect somebody for the good? There's so much more than just being a football player that most guys can't wrap their minds around. So that's what I would tell them. Be more than just a football player, and don't allow football to be who you are.
What is the life of a student athlete? Because people feel that when young men get scholarships and go on to college, they got it made because they got a scholarship, so they're going to be paid, they don't have to pay for school. But that's not true.
You know, a lot of people that say that, if they were to trade places with us, they'd probably drop out of college. The average day, we would wake up by 6, go to breakfast by 7, have practice from 8 till 12. We get out of practice at 12, have class like 12:40. So you gotta shower and eat before class. Then when you get to class, you gotta stay awake. You could have 3 classes back to back to back,
right,
or a 3-hour. So you gotta stay awake, take the notes, you gotta eat, then you gotta do your homework from the class you just went to. Now it's like 9, 10, but then you gotta sleep. You gotta have time for yourself, you know, play video games, whatever, you get your mind off the day. But then it's like 11, 12, you gotta sleep because you got the same thing all over.
And I know, Jamauri, you're making your decisions for different colleges. You said in sophomore year you had 5 offers already, but you made the choice. And people always want to know, why did you pick Western Michigan?
It's a great question. My last 2 schools were Georgia Tech and Western Michigan University. I sat in front of Paul Johnson, who was the head coach at Georgia Tech. He was an older gentleman, didn't have much energy. And I was like, oh, Mom, I like Atlanta. I love Atlanta. I love what the city brings. But I don't think it fits me.
Right.
And then I went out to Western Michigan, a little town in Michigan in Kalamazoo, and I met this man named PJ Fleck. And he reminded me of myself, full of energy, young. And he had this belief in me. He told me that, he said, Jamauri, you're not going to come here to be a football player, but you're going to come here and be a leader. And I was like, what? Like, I'm a football guy first. But he had a bigger vision for me than I ever seen for myself. And I can really thank him because now I've become that individual who has not put football as my forefront, but it's something I just do. And I'm fortunate because of that. So Western Michigan has been awesome to me.
You both are very spiritual grounded. How do you take that with everything that's going on to stay focused and keep your eyes on what the bigger picture is? Do you meditate? Do you daily prayer? Or what do you keep to keep your spiritual self grounded? Agbai.
The biggest thing is you remember who brought you there. The Bible app, they have the devotional, then they give you some verses to read. So I wouldn't always remember to do it every day, but more times than not, I would try to read that scripture and just meditate on it throughout the day. You know, say the scriptures over and again in my head. So that's what kept me grounded. Talking to my mom is very spiritual. So.
And Jamauri?
Well, I had the fortune that I'm a leader of FCA, which is Fellowship of Christian Athletes at our school. And I'm around like-minded individuals who care to like focus in on the spiritual life. And it's afforded me peace, right? Because a lot of individuals, like I've said a few times already tonight, they allow football to be who they are. And truth be told, football truly does not matter to me that much, right? Because I serve something for a greater purpose. Like, my life is not about me, it's about everything else. So it's allowed me to have peace in the midst of adversities, tough times. I can find love in the toughest of situations because God has me. I'm at peace. So my spiritual life is so important to me. And before games, I don't listen to rap music. I listen to gospel music. While we drove here, I put on gospel music because that's what allows me to relax, allows me to be calm, and then I can perform at a high level.
And keep us calm.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. So let's talk about circles and spirituality, but also it's the company you keep. How can you talk to young people out there now that are maybe going towards the wrong direction with friends? And how did you keep your friends small? And how did you make sure that, you know, you stay grounded without getting caught up in certain situations out there?
That's something my dad always preached to me. You know, the company you keep determines you. You know, you'll never see a bunch of surgeons hanging out with somebody that sits at home all day. You know, he can't be in company with them. And it was like, if you show me 5 of your friends, they're going to show me the average of who you are.
Wow.
So it's like the company you keep really determines your elevation in life. And if you're the smartest person, you got to find a new room, you know. So it's just little things like my dad would chip in. And when I was young, I used to think he was nagging. But growing up, I always hear his voice in my head saying these things, you know. So now it's hard for me to be with somebody that doesn't want to do anything. So it's just like, watch the company you keep because they can either inspire you and help you grow, or they can keep you back, pull you down with them.
I think he hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
I think it's always been important to me. I've always interacted with everybody. I can hug you, laugh with you, but everyone's not my friend. Okay, so Cam, Agbai, those are my friends, but everyone's not my friend. Even in school, I have 4 close friends. 3 are getting their masters. 1 plays in the NFL right now. So those are my friends. And I think everybody tries to make everybody their friend. Everyone's not your friend. Everyone doesn't have your best interests. So I hang around individuals who are doing great things, and it propels you. It motivates you because we push each other. We pull from each other. We sit down and have coffee sometimes and just pick each other's brains. And that's what it's about. We're friends. We're family. And we do great things because we actually have each other's best interests.
Great. My question going in college, college is fun. You have good times in college. You make great friends. But I wanted to just talk about the do's and the don'ts in college. Who want to go first? Because I know there's some don'ts that you have already done.
You go first.
I would just say, first you talk about the people you keep around you. That's important. I went away 10 hours away. I would say first, put the right people around you. Find something that's outside of just school that influence you for the better. And I would say when it comes to girls and nightlife, enjoy that. Like don't shy away from going out and hanging out. It's nothing wrong with having a good time. And when a good time becomes everything to you, that's when you fail. Like my priorities are school, football, it's my spirituality. That's my main focus. I hang out, but hanging out isn't my favorite thing to do. And a lot of people make that their favorite thing to do. And that's where they go wrong. So I would say focus in on the things that are, keep the main thing, and you'll be fine when you go to college.
Constantly email your professor if you don't get something. They actually like when you reach out to them. That makes them think you care about the subject topic, which you should care about. And a don't would be, don't tell yourself, I'm going to do this first thing tomorrow morning. Because by the time you get to that point, tomorrow morning is going to come and you're not going to want to do it. So it's like, just get it done on time so you don't have to say that. And if it comes to that, just do it that night, because chances are you're not going to want to do it.
So Agbai, what is one thing that you would want us to know about you? Agbai Iroha, what is one thing you want everybody out here to know about you?
I got an app coming.
We're going to talk about it. We got an app, yep. Jamauri, I was on your, I scrolled through IG, and I came across a post on your IG. And I want you to talk about it because I thought when I read it, I said, this is great to, talk about. And the post was saying, every next level of your life will demand a different you. Can you explain about that a little bit?
I can. That's actually my background on Twitter. And I think that quote is so important because we have to constantly evolve, right? Nothing stays the same. If I stay the same, I get caught, I become average, right? I want to stay elite, so I got to constantly change what I know. I got to constantly read to be up on the know. And I think that's just so important that people become stale. And when you become stale, you become average, and now people don't want to, you're no longer the individuals that people want to follow. So in order for me to stay relevant, for me to become the person I desire to be, to stay elite, I have to constantly change, learn, and do. And that's why I love that quote so much, because it tells me like, hey, you gotta constantly evolve. If you stay stagnant, you get caught, you're average.
With all the sexual accusation and things going on in college football now, what can we tell about a young person getting ready to go into college and to prepare them for that?
Just to trust your gut feeling. If you're in a situation that something in your mind is telling you, that this isn't good, you should probably get out of that situation. I've had teammates that they were wrong place, wrong time, lost their scholarship. I've had personal experiences where it's like something would be telling me don't go out this night, and I don't listen, and then something bad happens that night, or I do listen, and then my friends come back and tell me what they experienced that night. So it's just trust that gut feeling.
And Jamauri?
I would say, our coach always tells us, no offense to any woman here, but he says women are undefeated, right? So no matter what, if something comes up and your name is, you're accused of anything, right? When anybody types in Larry Smith, the first thing that comes up is he raped somebody, if he did it or not. that's what his name is now attached to. So if it's no, it's no, right? If it's yes, it's yes, and it's still no if she's not in the right state of mind. So that's why our coach always teaches us. And we actually have something called heroes training. So we actually train on sexual assault to kind of, if something's going on, to kind of step in the gap between a guy and a girl who's engaged in things that we don't feel are right. Okay. So, but if it's no, it's no, and if it's yes, it's still no.
Agbai, so we're going to talk about what's new. So you just brought up that you're working on an application.
Yeah.
You are the co-founder of NYXR LLC, Mixer
yep.
LLC, and your company is in the process of creating an app for the event industry. So you want to talk more about it?
So pretty much, we're making an app that's going to change how event entertainment management is handled. So the app is gonna allow like DJs, because you know when you're a DJ wedding planner, that's not your full-time gig. You're working during the week, and then you have your gigs on the weekends. So we're gonna make it easier for them to manage all the events they have lined up. The person throwing the party, like you know the bride, she can make updates on our app, and the wedding planner is gonna get them automatically. For the DJ, if people are at the party and they're like, man, this DJ is good, they can go to the contacts page and they can just hit one button request. It's going to send a push notification to the DJ. It's going to send them an email, and it's going to say this user wants to book you for a future event.
Wow.
So we're going to have, it won't be version 1, but version 2, we're going to have the photo feature, which is you know, when you go to a wedding and you take a bunch of pictures, you taking selfies with people, but you don't have contact with them, so now you got to tell them, hey, email me this, text me that. But each party is going to have a photo feed. So every picture that's taken in that party is going to be available to all the guests. They can download them, share them on Facebook, whatever they want to do. And we have a song request feature, so all the guests coming to the party, they can search up songs they like, and then the other guests can interact. They can vote on the songs. So the ones with the most votes will be pushed to the top of the list. So we're very excited. It's dropping at the end of this year.
Okay, so with that, and also, I don't know how you can do all this working, and then now you got the Mixer LLC, and then I was just told that you launched a fashion line, homemade garments from Nigeria. You want to talk about it?
I got a lot of cousins in Nigeria.
Okay.
Well, one of them, I'm really close with him. He's a tailor in Nigeria. He worked in this shop, and the guy was really like exploiting him. He would work a lot of hours in a week and get paid so little. I bought him a shop out in Nigeria, his own shop, and it's really for him to get his client base up there. But whenever I have a request here from somebody, they want like a custom outfit, I tell them get their measurements, give it to me, I give it to my cousin, then he makes it with his bare hands and ships it over here, and I sell that for him.
So, Jamauri, do you see yourself or going to the next level?
Going to the NFL is a dream of mine. It's always been a dream. It will continue to be a dream until I get there. But what I focus on is the process, right? So every single day focusing on everything that I have to do to get there. Because if I worry about the end result, like if I focus on the fruit, like the root is going to be bad, right? So I got to focus on the root, what really matters, and that's the process. And I focus on the process every single day. So the work that goes into it, staying healthy, drinking the right things, eating the right things, that's what's going to get me to the NFL. So the NFL takes care of itself as long as I take care of myself.
You are the CEO and co-founder of Netcon Investments. Your website is up and running. You want to tell everybody how you got about Netcon and your new business venture?
Netcon Investments. I started it with my good friend and buddy, who's also getting his MBA, Curtis Doyle. We started it. We both had property management and real estate investments and real estate appraisals together. And we went out to a meetup in Kalamazoo with a lot of real estate professionals. And we're sitting down and we're hearing people talk. I was like, we can do this, but we're going to do it better. How are we going to do it better? People are truly our greatest asset that we truly have in this world, right? They're our greatest asset. And what people do in real estate is they focus on transactions. And I said, we're not going to focus on transactions. We're going to focus on the people element. And we're going to take care of each individual that we work with better than anybody else. And if we do that, we'll have more transactions than anybody else. So we started off, a lot of people who have real estate websites, they don't talk about mission and vision. We did that. And then we talked about how we want our company to run when we have employees. We don't have any employees, just us. We built our websites ourselves. But when we have our 5,000 employees, and it's not going to just be a real estate company because it's Necton Investments. We did that on purpose so that one day when we're doing wealth management, one day when we have a hedge fund, right, we're going to be able to do a lot of dynamic things with this company, right? But it all started back with this mission, this vision, and people being the greatest asset that we have. And if we focus on the root, we'll have great fruit.
I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. I'm just so proud of the both of you guys, you know, and I think when I thought about this segment, I wanted you, it's not, like I said before, it's not just about football, it's just being a voice to people out there, for you to be an inspiration to someone who's trying to do, and might be hearing the word no all the time, but you keep grinding and you keep going after it, and you keep your faith in God's hand and let Him lead you, and don't let nobody deter you from what you want to do, you know, and I'm so proud of you guys on that. But I want to talk about another thing that both of you guys are doing. Jamauri can start first. I know one of your biggest things, even with all the things that you're going through, you have a passion of giving back to the community. You do a lot of things in Kalamazoo, from feeding the homeless to donating clothes to people. So I want to talk about that, about giving back to your community and helping out.
I truly feel like that's so important, right? Because like I said, people are our greatest asset. We are nothing without each other, and there's somebody who always needs us, right? I don't have a lot of money right now, but I have a lot of energy. I have a lot of passion, right? So I can go out to the GED program at the Goodwill down in Southwest Michigan and give something to those people. And I don't do anything with, I bring my smart teammates who teach them problems. I just go there with energy, right? I just tell them, hey, look, I'm gonna make your day. I'm gonna make you smile. Well, my teammates are gonna teach you the problems, right? But like the little kids that I hang around with, one of the kids I mentor during the summer, his mom can't afford for him to go to camp, so I'll pick him up, have him come swim in our pool, hang out with him a little bit. But it's just those things, because right, what I do for people lasts forever, right? That kid, for the rest of his life, you can say Jamauri Bogan cared about me enough to take me to the pool during his summer time off from football. He's going to remember that forever, and he's going to do the same thing for somebody else. So that's why I focus in on that so much, because what I do for others, they'll do for somebody else, and they'll change somebody else's life, and hopefully one day they come back and help my kid out because I helped them. So that's why I do those kind of things in the community.
And Agbai, I know you help out, and like you said, you helped your cousin out in Nigeria by buying the shop to help him start to sell. Do you have, like, when you were at Monmouth University or in your community now or in the church, to help out, give back as well?
At Monmouth, we would go to the Ronald McDonald House, which was a place for, you know, like foster children. We would spend some time with them. Then we would go to a special needs school. You know, the school's population was just autistic children, and we would spend time with them, play football with them, and that just brought so much joy to them. Like Mari said, when you give back, they can either, you know, give back to you, which isn't even the biggest thing. What they can really do is sow that seed in others. And, you know, sometimes down the line, you'll see somebody will come and tell you, thank you for doing this for me. You won't even remember, but it meant everything to them. You know, and I just learned that from my parents. You know, they taking people into the house that need shelter, and they provide for them, and they don't ask for anything in return. And these people are so grateful because somebody believed in them, somebody cared for them, and something so simple to you means the world to other people. So.
Yeah, and I truly believe about giving back. You know, you can touch someone's life, and I really, truly believe in that as a big thing. Everything you go through, money or whatever, but giving back to people that need love and, you know, just someone to care for them is a great thing. We're going to ask, does anyone have any questions from the audience?
Just wondering if you guys could talk about the importance of setting goals and changing those goals on a daily basis.
Something that's even more important than staying in your own lane is, you know, putting the keys in the ignition and actually driving. You know, so it's like you can't be afraid to fail to the point where you don't even start driving that car. You know, so it's set goals, set them big, fail big, and just get up. Because most of the time, you're not gonna just fail. You're gonna learn from the experience. So the bigger the goals, I feel like the bigger the lesson and the blessing could come from.
I cast out these big visions. Like, I want to have 10,000 employees, right? That's my vision, right? I cast out this huge vision, and I just connect the dots and say, all right, this is taking me here to get there, and I get there, and I got to go back down here to go back up here. But it's this big vision, and it's like always like, God, like, I don't know how, but for some reason, he smiles with me so much because every time I'm trying to do something, he presents somebody that comes into my life that directs me to that path.
Wow.
Like, you know what? Hey, this is the person you need to get here. This person can help you get here. And I'm fortunate, but the vision thing is so important because people, I had this thing on my wall because I write on my wall. I'm not crazy, but I like to write on my wall. It says that 3% of people have goals and only 1% write them down, right? So it's about 30 people in here, probably one person writes a goal down, right? A lot of people don't have them. People don't write them down, but the individuals that do, they're the Steve Jobs, right? They're the individuals who change the way this thing called life is. So I think it's so important that we do cast out this vision and then say, God, lead me where I got to go after that.
What can you tell younger kids about belonging to something and the experience of it? It's not necessarily just the sport. It's all the values, like you all were saying, of participating in something as you're going up. It stays with you as you keep going. Can you all talk about the progression of that at the different levels for you?
When I have kids, I'm not going to force them to play football, but they have to play a team sport because the accountability it teaches you, you know, I got to deliver my piece or everything crumbles. And that's something that's so invaluable, just to know that other people are depending on you, you're depending on them. And when you all work together and something great happens from it, you know, that's bigger than winning games. It's a bond you create for life.
You learn how to work with people sometimes you don't want to work with, and you still have to get a job done, right?
Yeah.
No matter what, I may not hang out with you outside of football, but we got to get this job done. You learn how to lead people. Like I said, you learn how to care for people. And I think that's like the most important things that you gain from just playing sports in itself. It's and you learn how to compete, right? But not just compete against the people, but compete with. So I guess we are truly two good players, but we still got to learn how to push each other for the betterment of each other, not try to push each other to break each other down.
What actually motivates you? So when you find yourself in a time when you're in a slump, what are the things that you think about that can be motivating?
I have a lot of cousins in Nigeria. They would trade anything in the world to be in my shoes. You know, I came here on a visa lottery. My dad from Nigeria, he sent a piece of paper out to Kentucky. And from tens of thousands of people, we won. So it's like God really blessed us to be here. And if I ever think of quitting or I get lazy, I remember like there's people that's struggling, wishing they could be where I'm at. I can't waste this opportunity I have. So that's what I think about often.
I think it's God that kind of keeps you motivated. I think it's me thinking about my kids. Because like I always say, like I always use the hashtag, like, hustle for your last name first, right? So everything I do constantly right now is not for me, but it's for my kids and my kids' kids, right? So every day I wake up, it's like, okay, I'm not doing this for me, but I'm doing it for somebody else who's going to be smiling at me in a few years when I have a kid. And that kid has a kid, and they don't have to worry about anything because I did everything now. So that kind of motivates me. And then it's like, my mom had this vision for us when we were kids. She said, all I want was 3 smart African-American boys. So everything you do is according to that. I say, hey, I want to make my mom proud. So I went to school and graduated in 3.5 years because my mom had this vision for me being the very best Jamauri Bogan, Justin Bogan, and Juwan Bogan. So that's why you do what you do. You wake up like, I got this.
I love the way you speak over your lives. You are teaching us. I'm 50. People older than I am talk so negatively over their lives. Keep continuing to speak positivity over your lives. It's a great thing.
When I started talking about Stephanie's company, and I shared this with I call her my big sis, my mentor, and then in her car, and I asked her, I was talking about these things I wanted to do, and I said, you know, I just want to talk. We always hear about negative stuff. You cut on the news, someone got murdered, some kid got shot, you know, and I'm like, you don't hear enough about good news. And I said, you know, what if we do something to just talk about positive, good energy, good vibe that people can relate to. So we started planning and talking about, we didn't even come up with the name yet. I had different names, and you know, she just, and her daughter just both said, why don't you just call it Stephanie's Company? And I'm like, you know what? Okay, we'll call it that. But it's about uplifting people. And it's just not about football. It's about anyone who wants to be an inspiration to people. It could be whatever your genre is, fashion, music, anything that's just bringing good vibes to the community. That's what I'm looking for, and that's what I want. And I feel like to kick it off, it was no better two people to kick it off than Jamauri Bogan and Agbai Iroha. Because what I've seen, and I know them both since they were kids. I mean, one is my kid, but Agbai, I have known you since the 3rd grade, and I call you number 5 because Cam in the back is number 4. You all have been part of my life for a long time, and the growth and the instill of your family and just hearing your stories, I just feel that you were just a great platform for us tonight. And I just want to commend you guys for your hard work and your energy and your dedication. Jamauri, your dad and your families out there now, we're so proud of you. Agbai, we're so proud of you. But it also the community of Union itself, you know, it takes a village, and I can't do everything every day. And there's people out here that had my back as a mom to make sure you guys had the right directions. You know what I'm saying? And I commend those people that's here, my family that is here to help me on this platform. I love you all. And I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. You have made this, I was so nervous about today. Even when I was riding Jamauri this morning, I said, I feel sick. I want to cancel it. And Jamari's like, Mom, and just calm down. It's going to be okay. And just be you. And that's all I had spoken. Everybody I talked to today, like, Stephanie, just be Stephanie. And everything else will fall into place. But I also believe God is just directing my path and letting it flow. And I thank God for him and my pastor and everyone at Union Chapel for all their support. But it also takes a team, and you see them here, Lema, Antoinette, and Ned. I love you all, and I thank you for coming out to Stephanie's Company. We have more stuff coming up, the pipes. We're gonna have a fun time, and I hope you come out for the next session. As we end our session at every Stephanie's Company going forward, I ended with a smooch. So I smooch you from the left and to the right. And the next thing I would like you to think about is who is ready to be on my couch. Thank you for coming to Stephanie Company. Good night.
Mom is doing something for herself for the first time in her life.
Yes.
Right? Because for so long, she's done everything for me, my brothers, right? And for everybody else. And she's never done nothing for her. So she's living out her truth. She's living her best life now, right? And I'm so excited for where you're about to go with this. And I wasn't gonna miss it at all. So I thank you guys, as she said, for coming out tonight. And I pray you guys continue to come out and support her, because she deserves it, because she focuses on everybody else except herself.
And he made me cry.
Thank you guys.
I love you guys. Thank you. Love you. Thank you so much.